Hello everyone, welcome to the online learning series. So we are in the 7th session, which is the last session of this chapter, magnetism and matter. So in my previous session, we had studied about the classification of magnetic materials, and the magnetic materials are classified as diamagnetic, paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials. So based on the behavior of the magnetic materials when they are placed in an external magnetic field, we are going to classify them as diamagnetic, paramagnetic and ferromagnetic materials. So you all know that ferromagnetic materials are strongly magnetized when they are placed in an external magnetic field, and these ferromagnetic materials are going to form a domain. So this is how they are going to form a domain by the interaction of the magnetic moments of all the atoms. So the magnetic moment will be first initially randomized. They are all in the random direction. But as I am going to apply the magnetic field, external magnetic field to this ferromagnetic material, they all are going to align in a direction which is same as the direction of the external magnetic field. Now, there are some ferromagnetic materials which retain the magnetism even after the removal of this external magnetic field, and such ferromagnetic materials are called as hard ferromagnets. And there are some ferromagnets which are going to lose the magnetism as soon as the external magnetic field is removed. Such ferromagnetic materials are called as soft ferromagnets. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about the hysteresis curve. So we are studying about the hysteresis curve for a ferromagnetic material, and this hysteresis curve is also called as BH curve. That is, in hysteresis curve, we study the relation between the magnetic field of a ferromagnetic material and the magnetic intensity. So that is why we can also call this as BH curve, but it is usually called as hysteresis curve. So now let us proceed with this hysteresis curve. So coming to hysteresis curve, we are going to see what is the relation between the magnetic intensity H and the magnetic field B. So initially I am going to consider a ferromagnetic material which is unmagnetized. So there is no magnetization in a ferromagnetic material. Now I am going to place this unmagnetized ferromagnetic material inside a solenoid. So let us take up a solenoid and we will place a ferromagnetic material inside the solenoid. As you all know, as soon as the current is passed to this solenoid, a magnetic field is produced inside this solenoid. A strong magnetic field will be produced. So that strong magnetic field is going to magnetize this ferromagnetic material. Next, the second step what we are going to do is, I am going to increase the current. So as current increases, the magnetic field inside this solenoid also increases. So let us learn what happens to the H and B, how this relation is going to work. Now what is H? H is the magnetic intensity. It is nothing but the current which you are going to give to this solenoid. So H is the magnetizing force which you are giving to this solenoid, that is in the form of current, and B is the magnetic field which is produced due to the current in the solenoid. Now I am going to increase H and see how B is going to change. As you increase H, that is you are increasing the current in the solenoid. As you increase the current in the solenoid, what happens to the magnetic field? Magnetic field also increases. So in the first step, since we have considered a ferromagnet which is unmagnetized, initially B will be 0 and H will be 0. Now I am going to increase the magnetizing force, that is magnetic intensity H. As current increases, the magnetic field should also increase. So magnetic field increases and saturates. So this is how this is going to work, that is H increases, the magnetic field also increases, but B increases to a certain value and it is going to get saturated. Saturated in the sense now it has reached a maximum value, it is not going to change further. Even if you change H, B is going to be constant. It has reached the saturation values. It has been saturated. So, further the value of B will be the same. So, there is no point in increasing H further. So, let us stop increasing H here and I am going to consider this point as A. This is O, this is A. So, we are going to increase in the second point, we are going to increase B and H. Both are increasing, but for a particular value of H, the B will become maximum and saturates. Therefore, this curve is OA. It is represented by the curve OA. Curve will increase in this direction. Now, I am going to decrease the value of H. So, I know now I cannot further increase the value of H because the value of B has become maximum. Now, I am going to decrease the value of H. So, what happens if I decrease the value of H? It has to trace back, the value of B should trace back, but that does not happen. The curve is not going to be traced back. But as you decrease the value of H, the value of B also decreases and reaches this point which I am going to name as B. This value is B. So, what happened here is as you decrease H, the value of B also decreases, but H becomes 0, but B is not 0. Initially, you started with B 0 and H 0, but now H has become 0, but the value of B is not 0. Now, let us move to the point 3. In point 3, what we are going to mention here is the value of H is 0, but the value of B is not equal to 0, and this is represented by the curve AB. Okay. Next, let me further decrease the value of H because I want to make this B value to become 0. So, what has happened here is I have completely made this current to be equal to 0, that is the current in the solenoid is there is no more current in the solenoid. But what has happened to the ferromagnetic material? It is still showing certain magnetism. The magnetic moment in a ferromagnetic material is not randomized yet. So, what has happened here is the current has become 0, but the magnetization in this ferromagnetic material is still retaining. So, we are going to see what I should do to make this value of B become 0, to remove the magnetization completely from this ferromagnetic material. I am going to further decrease the value of H. Further decreasing in the sense H is already has become 0. Now, I am going to reverse the current. Here, we are going to reverse the value of H. So, as you reverse the value of H, the value of B also decreases and it reaches a point where the magnetic field has become 0. Now, you can see the value of H has become negative for the value of B to become 0. Now, at this point C, I am named this as point C. At the point C, the value of H is negative and the value of B is 0. Now, we have removed the magnetism completely from this ferromagnetic material. So, once again, initially the ferromagnetic material was unmagnetized. Then, you are going to increase the current in the solenoid, the magnetic field also increases and makes the ferromagnetic material magnetized. Now, as you increase the current, the magnetic field increases and saturates. Next, you are going to decrease the current, the magnetic field will also decrease, and as the current becomes 0, the magnetic field is not equal to 0. That is, you have completely removed the current from the solenoid, but the magnetization is still retained in the ferromagnetic material. Therefore, that point where you are going to find the magnetization in the ferromagnetic material is nothing but this B. Next, you want to make this value of B, magnetic field, to be equal to 0. Therefore, you are going to reverse the current and increase it. Then you are going to get a negative value of H where the value of B becomes 0. Okay. Then further what I am going to do in the next step. In the fourth step, let me increase the current in the reversed direction. So, as I am going to increase it in the reverse direction, again the value of B is going to become maximum and it again starts to saturate. Now, if I further increase H, it is going to be the same, that is the value of H, value of B is not going to change, and so I am going to mark this point as D. Now, I am going to reverse the direction of H. So, if I reverse the direction of H, here the B is going to decrease and come back to this point where I am going to mark this as E. Now, you can see the value of H is again 0, but the value of E is not 0. So, before the magnetic field was in this direction, the magnetization, the magnetic intensity and the magnetization were in the same direction like this. Now, I have completely removed this magnetizing field. So, what happens to the magnetic intensity? Some of them get randomized, only few of the magnetic moments will be aligned in the same direction, so that there will be a magnetization still in the ferromagnetic material. Next, what I do is I am going to reverse the direction of magnetic field. So, we have reversed the direction of magnetic field. So, when I reverse the direction of magnetic field, all the magnetic moment are going to get aligned in the direction of the magnetic field, that is in this opposite direction. Now, again I have made this magnetic field, magnetic intensity 0, but the magnetic field has not become 0, it has certain value. So, to make this value 0, what I have to do is I am again going to increase this value of H. So, as you increase the value of H, you can see that the value of B also goes on increasing. So, we have completed one cycle of magnetization. So, we have started from O, reached A, then back to B, then to D, then again back to A. This is one cycle of magnetization. So, in the first case, we said the ferromagnetic material is unmagnetized and we started when B is equal to 0 and H is equal to 0 at this point. Then, in the second point, we said as magnetic field increases, magnetic intensity increases and magnetic field also increases, and that is represented by the curve OA. And since B has reached the saturation point, we are going to decrease H, and I am going to decrease H to 0, but the value of B is not equal to 0, then that is represented by the curve AB. Now further, I am going to reverse the direction of current. So, H becomes negative for B to become 0, and that is represented by the curve BC. So, I have made H negative for B to become 0, that is to completely remove the magnetization from the magnetic material, we have to make the value of H negative. And further, I have increased the value of H in the reverse direction. So, also this magnetic field also increases and again it gets saturated. So, H is increased, B also increases, which is represented by CD. After reaching the saturation, you have to further decrease the value of H and H becomes equal to 0 where B is not equal to 0, which is represented by the curve D. And further, if you increase the value of H, B also increases and we are going to reach the point, that is the curve, and we reach this point A. And this is one cycle of magnetization. Now from this hysteresis curve, I am going to define two things. One is retentivity, the other one is coercivity. These two things are very important. Remember the definition, understand the definition. So coming to retentivity. Now here we have seen in this third point, as the magnetizing field becomes 0, that is magnetic intensity has become 0, but the material still retains certain magnetism in it, and that point where the magnetic intensity has become 0, but the magnetic field is still present is called as retentivity. So, the retentivity can be defined as the property of the magnetic material to retain its magnetization even in the absence of magnetizing field. So, when we have removed the magnetizing field, the magnetization of the ferromagnetic material should also become 0, but that is not happening here. We can see H has become 0, but the value of B is not 0, it is approximately equal to 1.2 Tesla. That means there is magnetization still present in the ferromagnetic material. Therefore, that property of the magnetic material in which it has magnetization retained in it even after the removal of the magnetizing field is called as retentivity, and that property is called as retentivity. Coming to corrosivity. What is corrosivity? So, to make the value of B 0, the value of H has become negative. So, the value of H for which the value of B has become 0, that is we have demagnetized the material completely at this value of H. So, for this value of H, the value of B has become 0. The material has been demagnetized when the value of H has reached this point, and that value of H is called as corrosivity. So, let us define what is corrosivity. Corrosivity is the magnetizing field needed to demagnetize the material completely. It is nothing but the value of H for which the value of B will become 0. So, for certain value of H, the ferromagnetic material completely becomes demagnetized, and that value of H is called as corrosivity. These two are the very important definitions. The retentivity is nothing but the property in which the magnetic field still is being present in the magnetic material even after the magnetizing force has become 0. And corrosivity is the value of H for which the material is completely demagnetized. This curve is called as hysteresis curve. Hysteresis means lagging behind. Hysteresis means lagging behind. So, you have seen in this one cycle of magnetization, as H increases, so H is going forward and B is following it. Lagging behind is H is leading B. Therefore, we call this as hysteresis curve. The next topic we are going to deal with is permanent magnets and electromagnets. What are permanent magnets? As I have already explained in the previous session, the ferromagnets are going to retain magnetization even after the removal of external magnetic field, and such ferromagnets are used for permanent magnets. So, these permanent magnets, even at room temperature, they are going to retain certain magnetization even after the removal of the magnetizing force, and such magnets are called as permanent magnets. We have certain examples for this permanent magnets like oligo, cobalt and steel. And the permanent magnets, so whatever the ferromagnet I am going to consider for permanent magnet, they should have these three conditions. That is, they should have high retentivity, and secondly they should have high corrosivity, and thirdly they should have high permeability. So how are these permanent magnets manufactured? By taking a solenoid and placing a ferromagnetic material inside that solenoid. As you are going to pass current to the solenoid is going to produce magnetic field, and that external magnetic field is going to magnetize the ferromagnetic material. And after the removal of this external magnetic field, those ferromagnetic materials are going to act as magnet. And for those materials, the retentivity should be very high, corrosivity should be high, and permeability should be high. So what do you mean by retentivity? That is, even after the removal of magnetic field, they should have the magnetization retained in them. Therefore, if that is high, that retentivity is high, then those ferromagnetic materials are going to make a good permanent magnets. And the corrosivity should be very high. That is because as the value of H is more, then the value of B will not become the 0 very easily, and therefore the corrosivity should be very large. And coming to permeability, since we are placing this inside a solenoid, the ferromagnetic material is placed inside a solenoid, what happens is a magnetic flux will be generated, and these magnetic field lines should pass through the ferromagnetic material. So if the material is allowing the magnetic field lines to pass through it, that is, if they have very high permeability, then the magnetization will be even more, and therefore these are the condition for a permanent magnet. Coming to the second one, electromagnets. Electromagnets are the ferromagnetic materials which show magnetization only when it is placed in the influence of an external magnetic field. So if I am going to remove the external magnetic field, they are no more going to act like a magnet, or there is no more magnetization remained in them. They are not going to retain any magnetization. So we have studied this earlier. A soft ferromagnet does not retain any magnetization when it is removed from an external magnetic field. So even electromagnets are those soft magnets which do not retain any magnetization after they are removed from the influence of an external magnetic field. So electromagnets act as magnets only when they are under the influence of magnetic field, or only when the electric current is passing through it. Therefore, the electromagnets, example for an electromagnet is soft ion, and these soft ions have a huge range of applications. They are used in electric bells, and telephone diaphragms, and loudspeakers. And a very giant electromagnets are also used in cranes to lift machineries and etc. So these are permanent magnets and electromagnets. So we have studied about the hysteresis curve, permanent magnets and electromagnets in this session. So here I am going to end this session. So we have here completed this chapter. Thank you.